Hello and welcome to another episode of Dan's Stream of Thought. Hello, everybody. How are ya? Good afternoon. It's time. We're gonna be playing some lovely tunes in the background while we get this started. Hello, everybody. Wow. I don't know why it still does that. It's not supposed to do that one anymore. It's supposed to do the fade. I don't know. Anyway, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the show. This is gonna be it should be an interesting show. All right, we got a nice little show lined up for you.
But on that day, the only thing there was that pocket watch.
This is where I would talk to you about if this was a like TV late night shows where I talk to you about, hey, we've got a lovely night. Welcome, ready for you, and we've got this guest and that guest over there, and that one with the mustache, and that one with the eyeballs, and that one over there with the hair, and that one with the no hair. We got all kinds of guests. It's gonna be a wacky show. But this isn't a late night show. This isn't even like this isn't a normal show at all. This has nothing to do with any type of show, really. This is just our show. This is our stream of thought. This is like my journal. This is like the this is my giant notebook full of notes of stuff that just spews out of my head. And hopefully some of it is interesting, and hopefully some of it is fun to listen to and informational. We're live right now on twitch.tv/streamersquare. The date is September 24th. We are mere hours, well, days, but like 72-ish, 48 hours-ish, probably like more like 36 hours-ish from people showing up to San Diego, sunny San Diego, to get ready for a little thing called TwitchCon. I don't know if you guys have heard of this thing called TwitchCon. I don't know if you've heard of this thing called Twitch, but you may or may not be watching this on Twitch. You may be watching this on YouTube. You may be listening to this on your favorite podcasting listening device. You may be listening to this on many, many different ways. The point is, you're here and you're having a grand old time, hopefully. And we're going to listen to all kinds of me going just ham on the microphone, changing up the ones and twos and making sure your brain feels nice and squishy at the end of it. I would love to think that I make people's brains a little bit squishy at the end of a show. I don't think it's that kind of show. It might be. It could be. But will it be? I don't know. I just don't know. There's all kinds of reasons it could be. There's all kinds of reasons we're gonna come up with things. Today, I should say, today we are talking about alerts. Specifically, stream alerts. And if you're listening to this episode, it probably means you're familiar with a streaming service, right? Whether it be Twitch, Mixer, YouTube, whatever it might be. You might be able to say, "Hey, Dano, what because so I had I'm going to tell you why this topic came up. I had somebody come up to me and ask me. A person watches my stream pretty regularly. They're a good person. They seem like they've got a good head on their shoulders. And they asked me, "Hey, so what do you think of?" I'll tell you how this whole thing like specifically got started. What do you think of follower alerts and having them on? And the reason I'm asking is with the thought of how or do you want to feel like there are people that just want to go totally unnoticed when they follow your stream? Do you want them to say, hey, I just coming in here just to drop a follow, I'll come back later, but I you know, it's weird. It's weird to have that being shown on screen and having an alert behind it. I feel uncomfortable now because let's be honest. What is the easiest thing to do on Twitch? It's the easiest thing to do is just to watch, right? For the first time. And if you like it, the second easiest thing is just to follow the channel, right? You can do that right here. If you're watching right here, you can maybe you're not watching live. Maybe you're watching later. Maybe you're watching in the future. Maybe you're watching in the past. I don't know how you'd be watching this in the past, but you can watch me in the past in the future. But the bigger point is the easiest thing to do is to go to the channel and just click the little heart button and say, "Hey, I'm following the channel. Now I know when this channel's live, and when I go to my following page, it'll show up when they're streaming." It's the easiest thing to do, right? It's very, very simple to just click that button. Now, what does that what does that do? What sort of impact does that bring to your content? What does it bring to a community? We're going to get into all of that today. We've got about an hour. I'm going to get into that. We're going to figure out exactly what it means to have an alert on. And that can mean many things, right? That can come out to say, we're going to affect people's lives with the positive by giving them a nice, warm welcome into a channel, into a community. We can affect their lives in the negative by bringing out the reason that they got called out today. It could be the reason that you have something stuck on your screen for hours because you maybe didn't get another follower for another couple hours, and somebody created a naughty name and they just wanted to have it shown on the screen. And maybe it's something that you have an overlay that says, "Here's my latest follower." We're gonna talk about all that, all those things. I'm listening. Thermal Turnip. I'm listening. Not watching, and I'm in the future. Are you in the? Oh, because he's not from Australia. He says in the future. I'm not sure that's exactly how that works, but it's kind of how that works. So, hello from the future. I assume that as long as Thermal Turnip is able to type in chat, the world has not exploded, right? Or imploded, whatever that might be. Right? That's good, right? I hope so. But yeah, that's good. So we're gonna get into all that. We're gonna talk about so many different things. We're gonna have so many different reasons to probably continue this to another episode in the future, actually, because there is just so much to happen here. There's so many different opinions I think we can bring in, and I would be remiss to say that there is no right answer, because I think there are some happy mediums. Well, I shouldn't say, I'd be remiss to say, but I would say that that's not entirely accurate to say that there are no right answers. It's not entirely accurate to say there are no wrong answers. It kind of fits that gray area of in the end, this is the advice that I gave. In the end, it comes down to what you really want. But let's ask you a few questions before you actually make that decision. Because while yes, very much, the decision comes down to you and what you want to do, because there's probably nothing you can do that's wrong necessarily. But if you answer these questions and then you follow up with something that doesn't make sense, then we'll talk about it. You know what I mean? Kumatori says, I'm super minimalist. Small, quick alerts. Most of my alert sounds are short and sweet, but that's just my pref. So that's my preference as well. I like a short and sweet preference or a short and sweet alert that just shows something and then kind of goes away, but still alerts you to what's going on. Personally, I do not have follower alerts on. I haven't had them on for a while. And that doesn't necessarily have to do with how I believe it to make sense now, but it sort of... I'll explain why exactly I have them off now. and why it doesn't necessarily have too much of an impact negatively. Now, a lot of this could be a lot of this is silent. You know, there's a lot that goes on that says, well, you actually don't know how it impacts you negatively because the people that care about it just don't talk about it. Because that's something we have to very much understand about. I mean, that's what we have to understand about streaming a lot, right? So one of the biggest things that we tend to ignore is that there's a silent majority out there, and we kind of need to listen to them by sort of listening to what it is that you see as your success in your channel. Now we asked this definition a while ago. What determines success? And I was looking for very, very simple answers, and I got a lot of good ones. My success is developing my viewer number to raise my viewer number higher every month, right? Or every couple of months, or raising my sub count, having a higher sub count, or having an average sub count every month, right? For my stream, or gaining 100,000 followers, or whatever it is that you get there. Like there were these little goals that popped up. Some of them good, some of them all of them good, but some of them not as meaningful as the others. Some of them that didn't really whatever. You know what I mean? We asked that success question not that long ago. I urge you to go back and listen to that episode. And also check out the Patreon. Check out the Patreon that keeps this channel going. Personally, I volunteer my time here, but that's because I believe in what's going on here, and if you do subscribe to the Patreon, you do help a lot of these things that happen, and make sure that people are getting what they need to make sure that they can put time into this, and making sure that legitimately just the stream just runs well. The whole channel, rather. The whole website. Patreon.com/StreamerSquare. But the website is Streamer Square. And the entire meaning of free resources for people to learn from and to hopefully make their channel and their output better. All for free. Anything you subscribe to everything you submit to the Patreon gets you a little bit of bonus stuff, but everything that we put out here at Streamer Square is free. And that's for a reason. It's because a lot of this information should not be held behind a paywall that helps everybody, right? So one of the biggest things that I've noticed with a lot of streaming advice is people will charge to make people better, and it's like, well, that makes sense. That's a legitimate business strategy, right? It's a legitimate business strategy, but the morality behind understanding what that not morality, I guess. The strategy behind understanding what it is that you get out of helping other people around you. I think that you get more benefit out of doing it and making them actually better than just making a buck off of them. Because for the most part, not everybody has a buck to spend on this. For the second part, that this is gonna be, so this whole episode's gonna be a slow-brained one because I don't know what's going on. Everything in this house is slow today. My toothbrush was running kind of slow. I had to like extra push it against the teeth and make sure that the engine was going. It's an electric toothbrush. The fan in the bathroom while I was brushing my teeth felt and sounded kind of slow. I don't know, everything's been going kind of slow. My brain's going kind of slow, so I'm pretty sure I said second fart. Second fart's always the best. Yes, I don't know why I said that. Hi, graphics. Anyway, helping people out, especially in this industry, making everybody better at what they do, is going to help you in return. So hiding it behind a payroll, I just don't think it makes sense. But In the way, anyway, that doesn't really matter. I'm not calling anybody out. That's not like a, oh damn, he shots fired, pew pew pew. I'm just saying that. That's how I think a lot of us believe here at Streamer Square, and that's why we do what we do here. So, anything you have, anything you need, as far as advice or information, we do our best to get that out there. It's best to listen to these shows, whether they're live or recorded. Listen to these shows and provide some feedback. Join our Discord. Discord.gg/StreamerSquare. So join that there. Did we get all the housekeeping out of the way? Follow the channel, subscribe to the channel, or subscribe to the Patreon, and join the Discord. That's pretty much everything, right? Join us on Twitter. That's good too. If you want to join me, I'm Danotage everywhere. DANOTAGE. Everywhere. So go check those out. Like, follow, and obey. Join us on Dank Fuel. Yeah, when do we get that branding sponsorship? Dank Fuel. We need Dank Fuel to sponsor us with Dank Fuel. Can we get that? Can we make that happen? The Hello Hunter. Speaking of, I was getting all our housekeeping done at the top of the show, so you really didn't miss much. We were talking about what we're going to talk about today, which is alerts and how they affect everybody. And then we were getting our housekeeping out of the way. So yeah, please go follow all those things. Go do it. Go join them. Go be part of them. We, like I said, what we do here at Streamer Square is provide free content and free advice and free information and free resources for you to hopefully have a better stream. And that doesn't mean like we're going to tell you what to do. You can actually sign up for, like, one of the Patreon things is to actually be coached, and they'll tell you what to do. But at the same time, it's ultimately still up to you, right? It's still up to you and what you do. And this is a big part of this topic today. This is a big part of this topic today, which is alerts and how they affect you. So, like I said, specifically, I'm going to focus on follower alerts for a little bit, because I think follower alerts are extremely something that people think about. Well, actually, you know what? They don't always think about it. I think they should. People do think about sub alerts and bit alerts and tip alerts. They think about those a lot because they make them money. Personally, I think follower alerts also make you money. They also deny you of money too. It might not be much, and it's a lot less of a factor than I think the other things. However, I don't think alerts in general make anybody any crazy amounts of money. You have special alerts like what I have on my stream that is very much adapted from my friend John Sandman's stream, who does different alerts for different amounts of everything, which very much gives a little bit of variety to what's happening. It's a little bit of fun and interaction with your alerts too. But I'll tell you right now, the percentage of people that will submit an amount of money towards something specifically for an alert is, well, think of it binarily, right? Not like the amount, because the amount does matter for the alerts. Like, oh, I'm gonna tip this much money to get this specific alert. Yeah, that's gonna happen. But in the end, that person is either going to tip that amount of money or they're not going to tip that amount of money. That's what it's I sort of see that as a little bit binary. I know that there's probably a little bit not going on there a little bit going on there that might change that binary a little bit. But in the end, what actually happened there is a little bit more of a psychology discussion. So there might be people that went from 0 to 1 off to on that binary switch of, I was not going to tip any money, but now I'm going to, because of that special alert, for a few different reasons though. One it looks like you put work into them, because John does put a ton of work into them. When it looks like you put work into them, which is huge, it looks like you, it looks like I'm going to have a little bit of fun, and the chat reacts to it very interestingly, right? That's gonna be a factor as well. It's going to come out as, I don't know why in the afternoon I get all stuffy. It's probably because the air's on. It might come out to a bunch of different things, but the real reason behind it all, I shouldn't say the real reason. I don't know this. I'm not an expert by any means in this category. But the reason that I believe that a lot of this comes into play has a lot to do with the fact that if they like those things that they see from your channel, there's a good chance that they were gonna like those. They were gonna like something else that came from it either way, or like with what we talk about when it comes to talking to your audience and reminding them that there's certain things that can happen. It's more of a reminder, right? Because if you can psychologically urge people to try those alerts and to find out which alerts or which amounts do what, you get a more frequent base of something. Which, if you have a more frequent base of something, you have the new people that don't really know what's going on, or the people that maybe haven't tipped in a while, reminding themselves and you reminding them that, hey, this tipping exists. This, me monetarily supporting this streamer exists. It's why we have such a snowball effect with bigger channels that you see make so much money based off of their tips and their bits and their subs, right? Because they're constantly reminding their audience through their alerts that those things exist. Right? Those things are within existence and they can then utilize them. So I'll tell you right now, there's a few things that help with this, but those are the things that come into play. Sorry. I thought I heard something. Those are the things that come into play is the reminder that you can do these things. And when you have more frequency of people trying to find out certain alerts or people triggering specific alerts because they like the sound in them, or they like the soundbite that comes out, you get to constantly remind them without actually saying anything about those alerts. It's like when somebody hears an alert going on now in Twitch, and they've been on, because most people have been on Twitch for a while. There's a lot of new people. I've been actually had a lot of new people watching my stream recently because of a feature. And there's a lot of new people trying to figure it out. And there's a lot to be learned for these new people. That's nice. But remember that like the majority of people have been on here for a while, at least right now. And when they hear an alert go off, there's almost like a psychological mute that happens that says, oh, that person's just he's got something going on. It doesn't matter what it is. I can see it on screen if I wanted to, but that's just what's happening. Because a lot of people listen to streams in the background. That's kind of the way of long form entertainment here on the internet is you kind of listen to it in the background. It's kind of background noise for you. Right? So if you have that one thing that keeps going on, unless you really care about what it is, you kind of just hear it and just becomes part of the channel, and you're just like, okay, that's what happens, I guess. And then the person says, hey, thanks for the follow, or hey, thanks for the bits, or hey, you just subbed at tier 3. Great, you did it. And that gets spoken about. But when you have these different alerts that pop up, like what John does, is you constantly get somebody thinking about different things, right? Oh, that alert's different from the last one, but it was for the same thing. Oh, what's going on here? Oh, wait, no. Oh, that was a $6.66 tip. That one was a $4.44 tip. That one was a $3.11 tip. Oh, they're all different alerts and stuff like that. Oh, what else might he have? And then you're constantly trying to figure out new ones. You find out one that you like. Oh, that's a $6 tip. I can afford $6 every now and then. Yeah, I really, really, really like that alert. Maybe that's the one that I'm going to use more often. So it's like a variety platter that people can pick and choose what they want to be part of and stuff like that, you know? So that brings a lot of reminder, but also a little bit of variety. I'd say that fits in a unique category, right? You can do that if you want to. That is something that seems interesting. It's a lot of work, I'll tell you that right now. It's a lot of work. But for a lot of people, it tends to become worth it. But let's go back to most things binary, right? Most things in alerts binary. The alerts are cool, and when people hear the alerts, if it's a good one, they're like, oh, that's cool. But how often it changes people from going to not monetarily supporting to monetarily supporting, I would be willing to bet it's quite rare. The John Sandman phenomenon is something that is, well, it's done a lot by a lot of people now. A lot of people do it, so it's sort of losing its magic. However, the quality at which you put into those alerts can change that outcome. However, that's a little bit special. Let's chalk that up to being special. And if you want to go that route, feel free. I think that's a really fun route, and I think people will like it, especially if you put a bunch of work into them. That will change how much people tend to enjoy it. But again, let's not worry about that. Let's worry about the fact that there's more of a binary going on between people that we're going to support financially at some point, whether it's now or a year after watching you. They were going to do that. It's just kind of how it was going to go based on whatever their finances might be, whatever they decide their budget is for Twitch or what have you. So so think about that as we go on to talking about follower alerts as we loop back. This is a reason it's called a stream of thought, because I'm kind of everywhere. Because most of this is off the cuff, because if I write stuff down, I will mess it up. So if I don't write it down, it doesn't sound like I'm messing it up, because it's a smooth flow of thought, right? So follower alerts. There's a question. I think there's a question. We can open up the questions in chat too. What point do follower alerts become meh? 100 followers, 1,000 followers, 10,000 followers. So that's an interesting topic, and I was actually thinking about this for my own channel a little bit, because like I said at the beginning, we're going to talk about this again. I have had follower alerts off for a while, and that all started, the reason I turned follower alerts off was specifically because I had a couple big name, I'm not going to drop their names because they feel like that's a little cheesy, but I had a couple big name people come by and follow my channel over like a spread of a few months. And their names popped up on, and I had a small one in the corner. Names popped up in the corner, and I like reacted. I was like, whoa. Thanks for hello. Thanks for following the channel. And then the person said, "Hey." I mean, I've known them for a while. They were a friend. They just were, they were here, right? So it's like, "Oh, hey, wow." And then it followed the channel, and then so this is part of, and then this comes back to being a little bit more active and just reading people's tweets and stuff like that. This person talked about maybe 5 to 6 months later, which makes me think that it has nothing to do with what was happening on my stream. I don't think it really does. But it was almost directly related to the thing that just happened, which was following. The person was talking about it's sometimes hard to follow people while they're live, because especially when they have follower alerts on, because I don't like being called out because it distracts from the entire show, right? If I was about to say Ninja, but he's not on Twitch anymore. If Lyric came into your channel, is Lyric the big one? If Shroud came into your channel, this is all relative based on time, so at whatever time you're listening to this and whatever's relevant to you, if Sushi Dragon came into your channel and followed your channel, or Herman Lee, let's do it this way. I'm gonna just pick a bunch of different people. It's because this is where I would freak out. I would freak out if Herman Lee came into my channel and dropped a follow, and it just showed up on screen, and it would definitely freak me out. But knowing Herman Lee, he probably wouldn't mind being called out, because he's a rock star for one, but two, he's also Just a cool dude. So if he came to my channel and saw that and said something, I would actually like I would be drawn aback a little bit. In fact, when Julian Solomata came in and he raided me one day, that was big shocker. Jen and Julian raided the channel. I was like, oh wow, that's huge. What's going on here? And I was like, wait, is this real? That was the first time in my life I go, is this real? Because, you know, I'd been watching Jenna Marbles for hell, a decade at that point. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. And so I get drawn aback. Now, if that was just a follow, would that be something that person wants to know? Because I'll tell you right now, if the person just followed and didn't say anything in chat, and my chat or a community saw that, they'd be like, they're here! Oh my god, we need to get their attention! I don't know why my chat sounds like that. They really don't. Maybe that's just Thermal Turnip. No, he sounds more like the Grand Nagus, huh? What are these humans doing here? Humans! Get them out of here! But essentially, if that happened, there would be some attention pointed towards them, right? And saying, hey, these people are in the chat. I want to talk to them. This is gonna happen. I need to do this. It's like when Deadmau5 used to watch. I don't know if he probably still does. Used to watch Sequisha, and you'd see him in the chat, and people would try to talk to Deadmau5 the whole time, and Sequisha would sit there and be like, dude, don't bother him. He's super, super busy. You know what I mean? So that tends to happen. So it's like, so instead of distracting and detracting from chat, they tend to they sit there unfollowed if they're watching the channel for a little bit, and they'll follow after the channel goes down. Like maybe once they end the stream, it's like, okay, now I can follow. I feel safe to follow. If there's alerts and stuff like that. But I want you to think about more than just that. More than just people, the bigger names being called out. Let's think about the smaller names being called out. Because that's honestly more important, right? People get uncomfortable because they were in your channel. They probably aren't really that uncomfortable. I'll tell you right now. They're used to being in a spotlight. It's just kind of the way it goes. They're very much okay with what's happening, or else they wouldn't do any of it, right? Because you can very much just drop a follow and your name pops up on screen and people go crazy and stuff like that, but you can still say like basically nothing in the chat, and everything will go back to normal in seconds. It'll be just fine. But you literally drop a hey to the streamer. It's like, hey man, you're doing well, just checking in, just want to say hi, and then you just go back to lurking, and really you don't even have to, you just ignore the chat. Nothing else happens. It's all good. And then everything's normal from there. So that's not really that big of a deal. Let's think about somebody just coming in for the first time ever. They don't know your channel. It's basically like they're walking into a party where they know absolutely nobody, but it seems like a pretty hoppin' party, so they want to be there. They enjoy what's happening on stage, so they want to say, hey, I'm going to join this party. Here's my invitation that I'm flashing involuntarily to the audience and saying, hey, here's my thing. I don't want to be doing this, but here's my thing. And then people will tend to, like, they feel a little uncomfortable with that. Perfectly understandable, 100% normal. They feel like they've been kind of called out. When in reality, most people that have that alert set up, and most people that are streaming don't really feel that way, right? They're not calling these people out. So there's a bit of a miscommunication happening there. Now, of course, this wouldn't be a dance stream of thought unless we brought up communication. There's a bit of a miscommunication going on there. There's a bit of a missing connection, right? That connection never actually happened. So there's a chance that that person can go away simply for that reason. There's a chance that that person is bothered by it but doesn't care after that. It's fine. There's a chance that that person actually wanted to be noticed for joining the channel and said, "Hey, I'm new, welcome me. I would love to be part of your channel," because, well, everybody has a different personality, right? But these are all the types of personalities that come through. And so it depends on how it is you want people to feel. And it's all going to come down to this every single time. Depends on how you want people to feel when they enter your channel, when they do things to your channel. Consensually. Do you want people to feel like they've been welcomed, whether or not they feel comfortable with that or not? Do you feel that maybe that's a much bigger deal for somebody to not want to be called out necessarily, or feel called out when they're, you know, whether they are or not, and to make sure that they are going to be highlighted in some way, shape, or form? Is that something that you want? So I want to bring up the questions that I asked. This all sparked from a person asking me a question about this, and I want to bring up the questions I asked that person before that person made the decision. So this is normally what I do with advice, no matter what, is I ask a bunch of questions, and based on those questions, you get to make your decision, or you don't get to. It helps you hopefully make that decision a little bit better. So said, hey, there's plus and minuses to this. It sort of depends on how you go about utilizing it. First question, you have to think about why people come to your channel. Smaller channels will most will go there to find something new or unique, sure, but for the most part, they will be visiting because they want to be noticed. Because, I mean, let's be honest. Why do a lot of viewers join small channels and almost always stop watching bigger channels when they grow to be bigger? We can go back to the roller coaster phenomenon if we want, but you can read about that in the book. It's a long explanation about what the roller coaster article is all about, or phenomenon. What did I call it? It's my thing. Sorry. Anyway, you can talk about the roller coaster effect a lot. I think it was effect, but in the end, you have to ask yourself, why do people go to smaller channels? Not necessarily, basically more of a risk, not like a risk to their life or whatever, but a risk to their time and how much they spend there, right? They go to a small channel to be noticed, right? That's not a bad thing, right? That's not a bad thing to want to be noticed, especially if you live in a world where nobody else notices you, right? Maybe you live in a small town and just a bunch of people that don't really care about anything, and you want to do something, you don't feel like you belong there, so you go to Twitch to find somewhere you belong in. And it's gonna be much harder in a bigger channel, of course. And people do this with going to smaller channels and saying hey and being noticed and being welcomed and stuff like that. And then they'll watch for a little bit, they'll watch for a while. If that channel starts to get bigger, they may go away, or they may fall in love with the streamer so much that they don't go away. That's kind of the magic and how you know somebody's a good streamer is whether or not they're entertaining classically, but more along the lines of whether they can actually, and this isn't like I've been slapped on the wrist for saying this, but it's true, I still think. For starting, a good streamer starts a proverbial cult, really, right? Because it could get to a point, hopefully not to where it's abusive and they still stick around, but to the point where even if the person's having a bad day, or if the person's not necessarily being an extremely or a classically entertaining person at that moment in time, those people still stick around and they still support and enjoy the channel, right? So that's in my opinion, that's a sign of a good streamer. Whether or not I think they're entertaining or not, they still have a bunch of people that enjoy their content. That's what makes a good streamer. And it was less of a wrist slap of like punishment or criticism, but more of like a, hey, we can't really put this in our video because it sounds a little bit strange. So it's kind of like that, you know what I mean? by saying it's a proverbial cult. Let's call it a following or a group, a social group, which is fair. That is very true. That's what it is. But I do like their proverbial Twitch chats and Twitch communities and YouTube communities they're extremely cult-like. Especially some of the bigger YouTubers and bigger Twitch streamers out there, where you can have a streamer like almost legitimately just turn into just a total huge grumpy butt that just sits there and just stares at the camera and with a grumpy face, and people are like, well, I normally wouldn't find this entertaining, but since I really am dedicated to this person, I'm gonna have a ton of fun here, and I'm just gonna make sure that it sounds right. You know, it happens all the time. And you know, that's what makes a good streamer. It's not like that's not coming from a place of salt. Understand that. That's not coming from a place of jealousy either. I'm sure there's a lot of people that watch my channel that feel the same way. When I become a grumpy butt and people still watch me, I'm like, okay. But I don't even know where I was going with that. That doesn't even matter. I feel like I'm implying things that I don't mean to be implying. So the question came from the people that want to be noticed will be joining a smaller channel, right? So there's a good chance that they want that follower alert to pop up. Because a lot of people say, well, if you want that alert to pop up on screen, you should spend some money so that a sub alert pops up. I mean, business strategy, ding. Social quality, it's a little predatory to make people do that, right? Because they just want to be noticed. And I don't even know if it's predatory. It sounds more like it's a off-putting, I guess, to say something like that. It's like, well, if you want to be noticed, you can subscribe on the channel, which obviously comes down to wording, right? Right? It just comes down to wording and verbiage based on how you put it out there. Obviously that they can be worded a lot differently sometimes, but some people will say that, and that's not really the point here. But the bigger one is if people go to smaller channels to be noticed, they kind of do sometimes want that in there. And then there's also the argument that comes back, well, if they want to be noticed, they may not have a follower alert go off, but they will talk and chat, and that's how they get noticed. It's true. It is true. It's very, very much a thing. However, now you have to think about the people that don't want to be the first ones to talk, right? They may not want to be the engagers. Maybe they need to be engaged themselves, because there's a lot of people out there that come to Twitch to be engaged, not to engage, right? And that's important here. If I follow the channel and I'm here and I'm watching, I'm like waiting for like somebody to engage me so that I can then engage and have do whatever that is that I wanted to do. I have no indicator that I'm doing that. There's no clue, there's no cue going on there that has happened that way. So people have invented welcome bots that don't necessarily call out people for following, but they just call out people that have joined the channel that are new, right? That's why Twitch has integrated the whole introduce yourself emoji thing, where you can, after a while, if you're new to the channel, you can click the emoji and it pops up, but you don't have to do anything. But it's still you doing the engaging, right? Not the engaging doing you. Is that the right? Is that right? Is that right? I don't know. Anyway, being engaged is the real word. But the point there is sometimes you need to be engaged as a viewer before you engage, because that's just the personality type that you have, right? Now, with that being understood, is that a big enough, then you have to ask yourself, is that a big enough detriment to have people being called out versus people not being called out? So it depends on how you want to balance that. I can't answer that question for you. I'm still struggling with that myself. My idea was to possibly just have a little thing happen in the corner that's extremely small, doesn't even make a sound. Maybe a little ding that says, hey, ding, 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 and you guys can make those dings happening by whatever. They're little Pavlovian, but I've been toying around with some ideas. So basically ask your question. Some people go to chill and be in the background, but if they're going to join a smaller channel, there's a good chance that they want to be noticed. However, some may not, and they just want to check out your channel because you're playing a game that they enjoy. That happens too. So ask the question, how much do you want somebody to be noticed before they actually chat and chat? Ask yourself that question. That's your first question. Second question is, how much impact have you deemed it on your channel? Do you celebrate every follow? Do they show up on screen? And how big of a deal do you make it when you celebrate the follow? These are a lot of questions in one, but this is a second section of the questions. How much noise or graphic is incorporated in these alerts? So basically, how big, how loud are you, and what's coming out of your screen when somebody hits the follow button, right? How big do you have it, and that will help you answer whether or not you want them on or off, right? We're talking binary here. You can obviously there's many different reasons to do anything. So, is it big? Is it the same size as your sub alert? Is it the same volume as your sub alert? Is it the same volume as tips and bits and cheers and all that stuff? Is it a follow? Is it say, hey, welcome to our humble abode. We are here to welcome you. You've just joined the Danotage. Something like that, right? If that happens every time you get a follow, somebody may be uncomfortable. If it's a little ding in the corner and somebody's like, well, that wasn't big enough for me to be noticed, that's probably a lot more rare. I'm not going to say that's bad or good. That's probably a lot more rare. But that could happen too. But it's up to you to think about and what you want to have there. Is it there at all? Does that matter to you? Do you want it to have something just arrive, and if they feel like they just want to sit there and watch the thing, then they sit there and watch the thing? That's why I had my alerts off. So this whole thing came down to me explaining where I sit with this. So I don't have follower alerts right now. I may, like I said, I may reincorporate them in the near future. I haven't decided yet, but I don't have follower alerts now. I don't get like 1 billion followers every stream, so like at the most I'll get like 100 in a stream, but sometimes I'll get like 2, you know. But the bigger point is, it's not like it would change my content dramatically, but it would change the content a little bit, right? If I saw a thing that showed up and said that would change the content. People would hear that all the time, and people would either love it or absolutely hate it after a while. I'll tell you right now, anything that is effectively altering of content, whether it is a loud ding or whether it's a image that shows up in front of the content, like in front of the gameplay, or if you're in full screen in front of your face, I would say pretty objectively it does something. It affects your content in some way, shape, or form, right? It has an effect on it. If you don't have them on, there's really no effect to the content. So this is why we have the section, or this is why we have the topic split into content and community. Because if you have no alerts, it doesn't affect your content at all, really. Right? At all. It does nothing to your content. Everything that is content on the channel is 100% you, no matter what. You have no choice. You don't do anything, right? You have all the choice. I should say you have all the choice. Nothing happens until you make it happen, right? Does that make sense? So you have to decide how much you want it to affect it. How it affects your community, well, it always affects your community. That's the big thing. Is 100% of the time, it will always affect your community. You have to decide whether or not that effect is good or not. Do you know what I mean? And that was all the things we just explained, which is, do people want to feel called out? Do people want to feel welcomed? Do people want to be in the middle of normal? Do we want to have all these things? Like it's all kinds of crazy. Are there loonies in this chat right now? Are there loonies here? Loco, you gotta keep these people locked down. I feel like they escape a lot. I feel like these loonies tend to escape quite a bit. I feel like you may have lost the key once or twice. I have released them. Hi everybody. Welcome to Streamer Square. I'm sure you guys have been here before. Anita Loco Evil. Yes, she did. She lost the key. She's got to get one of those. She got to get Booker to sit. She's got to get Booker to sit to the side of the jail cell with a ring of keys in his mouth and just taunting you loonies, just sitting there, trained to not be lured, to not be corrupted, to not be at all influenced by the bone you have for him, the treats, anything. Just sits there straight Pirates of the Caribbean style. Is it Caribbean? Is it Caribbean? I don't know. But welcome to Streamer Square, which happens to be owned by Loco. But today we're doing my show, so this is welcome to my show, where we're talking about alerts and follower alerts. Right now we're talking about follower alerts, but we'll talk about sub alerts and all kinds of alerts. We'll talk about all kinds of things. It's called Dan's Stream of Thought. Hi, I'm Dan. Yes? Do you want to taunt the stream? Do you want me to... You want my attention? You got my attention. What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? This is Kara. She wants food, probably. She's up here, like, tapping me on the shoulder. She's like, hey, Dad. Hey, Dad. Hey, Dad. Hey, Dad. I'm like, what? What do you want? And then runs away. So, welcome. Hi, everybody. This is a show all about being a better professional in the gaming industry. So we're talking about professionalism in general, but today we're going to be focusing on alerts and having things on your stream. No matter where you're streaming from, whether it's Twitch, Mixer, YouTube, Caffeine, is that what it's called now? Any of these platforms, you can have alerts, or you can choose to have none. We're going to talk about people who have absolutely no alerts as well. If people are going to TwitchCon, yeah, if you bring your book, I will sign the heck out of it. I will do that. So yeah, we're talking about alerts and making sure that everybody kind of understands that no matter what's happening, you have full control over something, and you get to make that professional decision that says, hey, I want to choose sort of how my intended feel for something is, and also to understand that your intended feel for a thing is more than likely going to be interpreted differently by a ton of different people. So we're talking about follower alerts in the sense that, well, what does it mean when you have them, right? What does it mean when you have something either large or small? What does it come down to be? What sort of effect does it have on your content? What sort of effect does it have on your community? Like we were saying, if you have 0 alerts on your channel, it does absolutely 0 to your content, right? You get to make every single decision of the thing that happens on your stream, right? And you always get to do that, really, but you do leave yourself open to a few different things as things change, which is why places like Streamlabs and Stream Elements have introduced moderator settings to these things to where there's a delay on the setting possibly, so that if you have moderators watching the alert system and they see something bad come through, they can say, hey, that's not showing up. Get out of here, you rascal. Get out of here, you rascal. And so that they change a little bit, right? And they don't affect your stream negatively, at least, hopefully, or your content rather negatively. So you want to be able to say, hey, I want to have full control over something. So a lot of people do very minimalist alerts for that reason. Hey, maybe I don't show the person's name that's following, but I do see a follower ding that happens in the corner. You know what I mean? So this is big, right? This is a I think, in my opinion, a happy medium that comes through and says, hey, I just heard a ding in the corner. It doesn't say who it is, so I'm not calling out anybody. But I did notice that you now notice that the button you clicked that says that heart right there that says, I have just followed the channel, and now I know when these streams go live, and now I know when when Streamer Square is live, which is every Monday and Tuesday. Mondays at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. And then again, right after that, two shows. You have Loco and Hunter's the stream scene where they have two guests and they talk about what's happening now in the streaming world. Then right after that, you have Your Brand, Your Business with the lovely Chiganators and Warbnull, which I believe is also joined by your streamer friend. Not your streamer friend, your lawyer friend. Wow, my brain is not working today. And then on Tuesdays, when does Stream Doctor start? My lawyer friend. What the hell? I know his name is Noah. He's a friend of mine. I don't know what's going on. I don't ever call him my lawyer friend. He's just Noah. 4 p.m. Eastern. Okay, so 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern, the Stream Doctor starts on Tuesdays. And then, right after that, is this show. But until Loco's voice totally finds itself again, because it's totally wrecked her throat. I don't know what's happening. But once that she heals, she'll be doing that show again. And then we'll be here right after that. Right here at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. With Dan's Stream of Thought. Hi, everybody. So, let's see. Have a good one, Mr. Ortiz. So there was a couple things in chat. I want to actually follow those before we get further into these, because I think that'll help with our conversation a little bit. So this is very much, this show is very much a stream of thought. I kind of just flow things out of my head. There's all sorts of weird ideas that come up, some good, some bad, but hopefully we can have a discussion about them, and then you know what happens. Hi, Innovata. How are you, my friend? Found a small streamer via a raid from a big streamer. Ended up with a follow train. The followers went on for 25 minutes. Yeah, that's something that can happen. That might happen more often than not, because followers and following somebody is free. That's why people drop like 1 bit at a time to try to get that going too. They try to. It's a troll move, but that happens. Obviously, following is not a troll move, but people will do that for that reason. There's a big time where I will actually disable alerts if actually I haven't done that in a while, because I've had it to where I fixed it to where nothing trolly is ever going to come up really, but I've seen and I've suggested that, hey, just turn off your alerts for a little bit until those follows go through. That way it doesn't affect your content. You can actually keep these people here rather than kind of shooing them away with how many things are just distracting from your content, which is a big thing we were just talking about too, which is basically the less alert you have on your screen, the more control over your content you have, but you also take away the little interaction that comes from alerts and stuff like that too. So you have to make that balance that fits your perspective there. You know what I mean? What's up, Reanimix? How are you? But yeah, that's a big reason for that is the more alert you have, the less control over what it, well, you have that control because you get to make that alert, but the less control over how much time that takes from your content based on what you're doing away from you, right? So if you have a large alert that happens, it's pretty long. In fact, I have like 2 of them in my stream that where if something happens, it's going to be a long alert, but it's because something pretty crazy, right? But if there's somebody that kind of abuses that, or if they find a way to around that makes it so that they're not really doing whatever and they're still abusing it, I'll just turn off the alert, you know? The alert will get muted for a second so I can finish my thought and what I'm saying, or could finish the thing that's happening in the game, whatever. It's like if you're doing that to kind of get around being or trying to be a jerk, then you have control over that, right? But still, you want to be able to do that without with it being automated. We have computers for a reason now. They can do things on their own. And we don't have to necessarily babysit them all the time. So that's a big part of that. Because the sound clip misheard as bear source. This could be nice. I will treat my followers like chefs at a sushi bar by yelling at them. It's just a welcome. Yeah, it's one of those things too. We talked a little bit about follower bots or not follower bots, but welcome bots, where people people's name will show up and says welcome to the channel because you just joined it. A lot of people are very uncomfortable by that. That's not something that I would ever tell you that. I'm never going to tell you anything about whether you should or shouldn't do something, right? That's not what we do here. That's not what I do. I don't think I'm qualified to do that. You do what you do. You do what you have to do. You do whatever you want to do. I just give information that hopefully will help you make the decision, right? I try not to influence too deeply onto that. That makes a lot of people uncomfortable, though. People do really feel called out by that because they haven't done anything to earn that yet, or they haven't done anything to deserve that in their eyes. So when they drop a follow, they feel like, oh, I'm mentally preparing myself to where if this person has an alert that says my name, I will see that on the stream. I know that that's a possibility when I click this button. Some people don't. There's a lot of people that don't know that anything happens when they do anything, but most people understand that when I click this button, there may be a repercussion in some way, shape, or form, especially if you're a larger broadcaster, like we were talking about, and you go into a channel and you drop a follow, and that person is a big fan of yours, and they sort of get a little bit energized by the fact that they just saw that, and then it's like, okay, well, I know that was gonna I know that's a possibility that was gonna happen. I made that decision. I did it. But they don't really have the decision when there's a bot in the channel that says, hey, welcome to the channel, even though I just got here and whatever. So a lot of people leave because of that. However, you may want that sushi restaurant feeling. You may want that feeling of saying, hey, welcome to our family, welcome to our community. If you don't like being welcomed, sorry, but that's just kind of how we're being here. Because you can very much come down to the conclusion that says, if you don't like that we're welcoming you and being very open to having you as part of our group, then you're probably not going to like something else we do in the near future. Is that something you necessarily want to bring into your rhetoric? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. But there's a lot of things that happen in a lot of people's stream where it's like, hey, can we not talk about this serious topic right now? It's kind of it's making me uncomfortable. And then you kind of have to ask, well, is it this topic specifically that's making you uncomfortable? Or is it the fact that we're talking about something that's semi-serious? Because if it's something that you do and you want to do and you want to make part of your brand, then, I mean, sometimes you just gotta let that person go, you know? Sometimes that person just has to make it out on their own. It's just kind of, that's the decision you sort of have to make there. But yeah, it becomes a little bit of a pet peeve of mine when I see things on Twitter that says, stop doing this, don't do this, you are wrong for doing this, because that is absolutely, it's rude, first of all, to just shout out into the ether that they need to stop doing something about their own content when you don't even know what they're doing. You're just saying, stop having welcome bots in your channel. It's like, do I think it's a bad idea? Yeah, but I'm not going to ever shout that out to the world and say, you should stop doing this, because in the end, what if people like that? Because you don't like it means everybody doesn't like it? My cat's trolling me by pulling down on my headset. Kara. This is the ultimate troll. Just pulling on my cable wire. But there's like, not to call you out, Sympology. I know you come from a very good place, but the whole, if you have this, make it do this. That's what I am uncomfortable with. That's what makes me uncomfortable, because that may not be what the person wants, right? That may not be what that person wants for their channel. Maybe they do want it to say that to everybody that joins their channel. Would I ever do that? No, absolutely not. But the whole, like, do this because you're dumb. Not saying that's what you're saying. I'm just saying that a lot of people on Twitter says, though, you're dumb for not doing it this way. It bothers me. No, of course. Sharing my opinion rather than instruction. Exactly. This is all discussion. This is all information sharing. This is all, here's my knowledge. Do what you will with it, right? This is all like, hey, here's some tools. You don't have to use them. Here's a toolbox. You know, like a good host or dad or grandmother out there might do. Hey, here's all the tools you'll ever need. Use them, don't use them. Up to you. You make the decision. You know? You gotta channel a little bit of Bob Ross. You gotta channel a little bit of Mr. Rogers. You gotta channel a little bit of that. I have no control over you. So you do what you will. I'm just gonna provide you with the tools that you may or may not need. And that's kind of what we're doing here. That's what I do. It's kind of what I put out there. Like, that's what this book's all about. There's nothing in this book that says, you need to do this. I'm not saying, I'm very apologetic right now. I don't mean to call anybody out. I don't want to call anybody out. That's not the point. But there are people out there. There are people, especially that I read on Twitter, because I follow a lot of streamer resources to sort of see what's out there and see what people are doing and how I can make them better by doing them differently myself. I follow a lot of people, and they tend to order people to do things, and I get a little upset. I get a little upset sometimes. But again, Sympology, I'm very much a fan of yours. I am not never say something like that. Off-stream followers unite. So there's a lot of streamers out there that will follow, including myself actually sometimes, that will follow people specifically when they're offline. You know what I mean? So if somebody's online, I'm like, oh, I'll go to twitch.tv/Lyric, because I don't think I've ever followed Lyric, but I've watched him many times. And this is not because of this, obviously. It's a very different reason, but if I'm watching that person, or actually I do this a lot with my own community. I guarantee that if you watch my channel and you're in my Discord and you post in the going the live section, there's a 95% chance I've been in your channel before, but you've never known it. And it's one of those things where if there's like 10 people in there and this happens a lot, that's why I don't do this. And I follow the channel, and they have a follower alert that says this person has just followed the channel. I see the content kind of change for a good like 30 minutes, 40 minutes of like, oh hey, this person's in the channel. Oh hey, how was your stream today? Did you talk about this? And it's like, well, I never said anything in chat yet. So it's like, okay, I will. Hey, I'm doing well. Thanks, man. I hope you're having a good stream. I'm gonna lurk in the background and hang out. And then they keep making it about me, and I'm like, no, I don't want that. So sometimes I just show up in there, I just hang out for a little bit, I don't say anything, nobody even knows I'm there, and I enjoy the content for a little bit. And then I'll leave the channel up, and when they go offline, that's when I'll drop the follow. Nobody saw it stealthily. You know what I mean? Stealthily, the stealth follow, that happens a lot too. I do that because personally, I don't mean to distract from anybody's content. I don't do that all the time. There's a lot of people I follow that absolutely have no idea who the hell I am. But it happens a lot, you know? Yeah, I'm using Chatty right now. I've got, dude, it's way too many tabs open right now. I hope it doesn't take up a lot of RAM. It's not Chromium, so that's fine. Oh yeah, like console streamers have a much different category. They don't get to have anything, which stinks. But anyway, my follower alert covers the whole screen. Plays a truck horn that has so much gain it shuts off my sound card and ends the stream the moment it happens. Are you trolling me, Dank Fuel? It's done. A small channel animation with a sound clip of Tommy Wiseau saying, "Oh hi, Mark," cause that's my name. Works a treat. Nice. Oh hi, Mark. Yeah, it's non-invasive. It just puts it out there. Sure, totally. I can get behind that. Like I said, I've thought about reintroducing the follower alerts in a very, 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 very minimal way because I do want those people to somewhat get noticed, but also not feel called out. It's finding that medium ground. Because like I said before, I have my alerts off because I've had a lot of people come into my channel and just not want to be noticed, even though they have dropped a follow or what have you. What else do we have in here? We have questions open, so if you guys want to ask a question, just type !ask and then your question. I'm catching up in chat real quick. Would we just have to say treat? Treat wouldn't even. The other one, which we're talking about the dog at that point. Okay. Yes. No. I also just had to tell someone to turn that off because she's a political streamer. The chat message came from a moderator bot, so troll names couldn't be cleared easily. Yeah, that one happens too. So the big thing, to follower alerts specifically, because those are the ones that people will troll more often with because it's free. There's a lot of people who have like the newest follower on their screen for such a long time, or until the next follower comes in, right? And if that is a person, if somebody just wants to troll you, they'll just follow the channel betting that there's not going to be a new follower that comes in for a while. Now, your mods, will be sometimes kind to you and they'll unfollow you for a couple seconds and then follow you again to replace that, but that's causing someone to do more work that doesn't necessarily need to happen. So if you're worried about trolls and stuff like that, and you have something that shows up on screen, like I said, you may still want to keep it, but if you want to keep it minimal and put it in the corner or something like that, or you want to just keep it minimal and it only shows up for like a second, well, you might have to deal with a troll for a second, but at least it'll go away, right? But it's one of those things to where you might want some moderation on your alerts a little bit. I know that there are some tools that do that. I think Stream Elements and Streamlabs do that, but only on their first-party apps, I believe. I don't know if you can do that from the dashboard. I actually don't remember. It hasn't been a problem because I don't have follower alerts on yet, but I may need to look into that now if I do add that. But I don't think I'm going to add their names to the alerts. But that's the thing too, is like that's an option to have that follower alert show up, but maybe not have their name, you know? Yeah, nope. I think that that's extremely common. People don't like the welcome to the stream bots. But like I said, if you don't like it, then there might be something later in that stream where you also don't like. So maybe it's an early deterrent for a reason. Then again, it's all about, this is the whole reason for this channel to exist. This entire channel of Streamer Square, it's the whole reason to exist because it all comes down to education, right? If there's people out there that have these bots, and this is probably where this whole aggressive clapping comes from. That's what I'm gonna call it. I'm just gonna call it aggressive clapping because that's all I think about when I hear people ordering advice. Not like ordering it from a menu, but barking advice at people that don't necessarily ask for it. So I've been bodybuilding for about a year now, right? I've been working on like actually getting real fitness into my life, and that has then bled over into putting it on social media and stuff like that. And the amount of unsolicited advice that comes from there, from the most strangest resources and the most wrong tips, are incredibly abundant. If you are very self-conscious about how you exercise, probably a good idea not to post it on social media. And probably not a good idea to tag it with fitness tags. Because I think in their hearts, in their very heart of hearts, they mean well, but they 90% of the time do not come off positively. And that's what so I get triggered by that a lot, but I've come to expect it now, right? I've been in this industry for 10 years, but I've only seen this aggressive behavior of advice happen for maybe the last 3. So at 3 out of 10 years and it's been the last 3 out of 10 years, it's probably been when people have been aggressively putting out advice without anybody asking for it or any of that. You know what I mean? So, so yeah, that tends to that really bugs me. It's the whole reason that I agreed to do this show was like, we need to put out education out there that's not just yelling at people, telling them what to do, but actually giving them information and tools and letting them decide what to do with it. You know what I mean? I decided not to put the username in the follow or sub because I'm limited in font, color, lack of animation, and match my alert. And like I said verbally instead, yeah, totally, 100%. I'm down with that. Just have the alert pop. Yeah, totally. Not even as a streamer or someone some that people know, I still fall offline a lot of times. Yeah, sometimes you may, like, it's always good to it's always good that if somebody says that if you find somebody that you think you should follow, I mean, just immediately go do it, you know? And you know, out of sight, out of mind is a thing too, where if somebody tells you to go follow a channel, or if you're watching a streamer that you trust, they say, hey, you guys should go follow Loco. Maybe you're in this stream very, very strangely. You might have been, though. Maybe you're in this stream without knowing who Loco was. Don't know. She's the owner of this channel. I don't know how you wouldn't know that, but you might because maybe you're looking through the talk shows and podcast section. I say go follow Loco, and you go follow Loco. She may be live at that point, and she may thank you. I don't think she does. I don't think she has like follower alerts on, but she may thank you. But if you just go do it and then come back and you don't miss a beat with this channel, out of sight, out of mind, she may thank you, but if you don't hear it, you're not called out. It doesn't really matter, right? It's almost like if a tree falls in the woods, do you hear it? It's like, it doesn't matter. The question is relevant because you don't need to hear it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't affect you really in any way. I know a few streamers who when they start streams, they actually go through whoever follows subs offline. Yeah, I mean, I'd do that if people did that. I don't, like, very rarely do people follow. Well, people follow me offline, but very rarely do people sub to me offline. That happened yesterday, actually. I was offline for about 4 hours, and somebody dropped their sub. I always feel weird about that too, because I'm always concerned to where it was a new sub, so I was always concerned, like, did you mean to subscribe to the person I'm hosting? Because if you did, I'd feel terrible about that. I have chatty, so who doesn't want to bring it up? Yeah. Yeah, that happens. I have a ton going on in mine. Only 150 megabytes RAM. Oh, that's good to know. That's good to know. Thank you. This is why I keep several alt accounts. Jeez. With follower alerts, is it possible to add blocked keywords if using Streamlabs? I believe so. Yeah. In fact, let's figure that out real quick, because that's a great question. So let's go to Streamlabs. I use Stream Elements myself, because I'm not a huge fan of Streamlabs. But I believe they both have it. I believe they have a moderation section where you can go to your alerts. Let's see, let's go to alert box. If I go to... Maybe they don't. Hold on. They've got to have somewhere. They might have like banned words on your bot, but I think that might be for the bot itself. Oh, here it goes. Anonymize names containing bad words. Enable standard bad word list. And then you can have custom bad words. So let me show this on screen here for a second. You guys are gonna see my stream thing, but don't worry about it. Just ignore that. So if you look right here, at the bottom of the screen, you have profanity filter, which for followers, I'm just gonna turn it on right now. Replace bad words with happy words. That sounds fun. So you can enable the standard bad word list, which is whatever Streamlabs has deemed it. And you can change the names containing bad words to just something random. It just says this says some random name followed you, even though it's somebody with a bad thing in there. But then you can also put right here, like, Nazi lover 69420. There we go. Nazi lover 69420 is a custom bad word. If that person follows me, it will not show up on stream. Does that make sense? Yes, exactly, Samidiki. Exactly. So yeah, so that you can add a bunch of those to the thing. I know this has probably happened on several different shows on this channel, but a good thing is to, well, this is also a very, very sticky topic. A good thing is to put your address and sensitive information banned in your channel, so that if it's said in chat, it just automatically gets banned from the channel. Nobody ever sees it. The only problem with that, for a lot of people bring up the problem with it. I don't necessarily think it's a big idea or a big thing. Because if the person knows your information, they probably know it anyway. But there's some concerns always come up to where, well, if they do it and it gets banned, doesn't that like confirm that they're correct? Yes, it does. But sometimes you're more worried about the person that probably already knew in the first place. You're more worried about them spreading more information about it. You know what I mean? I really do find that on Twitter, I loathe those streamer tweets. Yeah, they're not my favorite. And a lot of, I don't think differently of the people that do that all the time. I can usually call that from a mile away before they even say something like that. But also, yeah, I'm not gonna hate anybody for doing that, but I've seen friends put out information like, you need to do this. If you do this, do this. It happens all the time. That's probably why I again have joined this channel and have joined the Streamer Square team, because both Hunter and Loco are people that ask questions. So one of my favorite things is to ask questions of people. They both ask questions to the internet. Hey, what do you think about this? Hey, this is a new thing. Tell me about it. Hey, blah, 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 something like that. So that it's inviting to discussion rather than me putting out something on the internet just to have it heard, right? It's a little bit different. I just got here, interesting discussion. I've never usually thought too much about follower alerts. And I'm not wagging my finger at you. I'm pointing at you like I would in a classroom. And don't mind them from other streamers. Never used them when I streamed a while back. I guess I'm more of a fan than on the minimalist approach. So here's the thing. The whole reason we're talking about this today is because nobody thinks about it. Like very, very, very minimal amount of people think about their follower alerts. But what a lot of people don't understand is they actually have large impacts, as we've discussed. They can be very impactful to a broadcast. Hey, do I have a bad word showing up on screen? Oh, I should probably think about getting rid of that in some way, shape, or form. Maybe it's because I didn't think about it before. But now you have this question that you can actually ask people and you can listen to the answers to right here on this show. but it's a thing. People don't think about follower alerts. They think about their sub alerts and their bit alerts and their tip alerts. It's like, stop thinking about money. Obviously, this is a business, right? But stop thinking about just money, because it's clouding you from thinking about all the other things that matter with your stream. When people go for things like, follow for follow, they're looking just to grow their channel. Perfectly admirable, perfectly fine. That's a great idea. Let me think about ideas to grow my stream. But they don't understand the repercussions of what does it mean to follow for follow. In fact, I'm going to get to Wes's question right now. Wait. Is that, hold on. Is that not the command? Can you do the command for me, Wes? Also, it's questions. Oh, it's questions. Thank you. Sorry. Yes, you put the instructions there too. Thank you. From Wes, do you think the rise in take this advice tweets are on a rise for a specific reason? Do you think it's a response to follow for follow or similarities? No, I don't think it's on a rise. I think in the last 3 years it's kind of got to its I say gotten. That's obvious. I heard myself say that in my Ashley Birch and Brina Palencia interview that I did back in 2014 that I re-uploaded to my YouTube channel, by the way. Shameless plug, didn't need to do that. Don't know why I did that. Just kind of came out of my mouth. But do I think it's on a rise right now? No, I think it's kind of hit a max. Like, it's kind of hit that point where it's kind of going to waver at the top there for a little bit. Because like I said, it's been going on for probably the last 3 years. I've been in this industry for 10 years, and like I said, I've only been hearing that in the last 10 years. Whenever anybody's given advice, 3 years. When everybody's given advice in the years that I've been doing this and being in this industry and stuff like that, it's always been it's always been not solicited. It's always been asked for, or it's always been something like, hey, this is like, it's been put in a semi-polite way. Obviously, there are rude people out there that do rude things, but for the most part, it's not been like shouted out on social media. It's been done in private, at least. Even if it's rude, it's in private, which is a little bit different. But in the last 3 years, we've gotten to a point where it's just, I think I'm an expert, so I'm going to shout things out. I'll tell you right now, if there's anybody that's an expert, I'm the one with the freaking book that keeps getting sold out, and I still don't think I'm good enough. So I don't know where these people get this like type of information that they can just yell things out at people for. It just feels wrong and rude to me. So even this book that I think it's got millions of problems in it. It's got a billion things I don't like about it. It's got a bunch of cool information, I think. It's got a bunch of stuff in my head. But even though I have that out there, I still don't want to go out and just yell things at people. I don't think it makes any sense. I think it's just rude. But for the follow for follow stuff, I think so that's been happening since. So follow for follow has been a thing since probably 2014. That's when I first remember it. So 2014, there have been apps that there have been apps on smartphones for you to be able to just randomly follow a bunch of people with the idea that when people see that, they'll just follow back, right? It's actually probably been longer than 2014. It's probably been since Twitter kind of started getting a little bit popular. So longer than Twitter? I mean maybe, but we have to talk. So we have to think about. Oh, so yes. So networking is kind of a thing. I'll do something for you if you do something for me. It's kind of basic networking 101. But the way it is today is a little bit different in the sense that I'm going to boost your numbers if you boost my numbers, and we're going to have a verbal agreement on that. That is something that sort of had a little bit of a paradigm shift. Whereas before it was sort of unspoken. I scratch your back, you scratch my back. It's just kind of how it goes. They'll do favors for favors. Favors are still extremely powerful in any industry. No matter what you're doing, favors will always take you a very long way. The follow for follow without asking with it. So the reason I believe it to be part of Twitter is because the whole I'm gonna follow you. You're gonna follow me, without even knowing who each other are. Each other is. I don't know. So without knowing each other, that has developed via anonymity, right? So the anonymity of kind of Twitter. This is just a screen name that says, I follow you, you follow me. That's just kind of the thing that happens, right? 2007 DeviantArt? Really? So how did it work back then? Because now you're going to teach me something, Kumatori. You're going to teach me something. How did it work back then? Did people just go around saying, hey, I'll follow you if you follow me? Just directly like that? Because yeah, I don't think this is a new thing. To answer the question, I don't think it's new. To how far it goes back, that's a whole different category of worms. But yes, no, I don't think it's new, and I think the whole shouting advice to the world and the internet is also not new necessarily, but doing it in the way that they do now, where it's just, I have followers now, so my tweets are gonna hold the water, and I'm just gonna yell out to the internet that this is a terrible idea and you should definitely never do it. Yeah. Hold that for global warming. How about you shout to the world that global warming's bad? Do that. I'm okay with that. You do that. In that we need to cool this world off. But yes, that's the point is yeah, I don't think it's changed much recently. The ones that drop chat taste salty to my panhammer. At least say hi and chat a bit. Yeah, so that's sort of what I was getting at with the paradigm shift into where it is now, is dropping into somebody's chat that you have no connection with. Because like, at least in DeviantArt, there's an artist connection, right? There's a connection of like, hey, you have art that I can show you if you click the profile right there, and I have art that I can show you because you just saw it, and saying that there's a little bit of a connection that we can follow each other for, blah blah blah. It's a little bit, it might still come off as scummy, but at least it's whatever. But if you're going into somebody's stream and just saying literally, hey, follow me and I'll follow you, that becomes a little bit invasive, because it's literally, it's like if DeviantArt had, you could just call the person up or send them a message that is audio and saying, I guess not audio, but send them a message that just says, like, interrupting what they're doing, like interrupting their art. You know they're doing art at that very moment in time. They're drawing that art, and then it just says in the thing right next to it, hey, follow me and I'll follow you, blah, blah, blah. But so that comes down to things like that, and saying, well, it has shifted in the way that says it is now interrupting the content. It is now so it's involuntarily, but also mentally getting in front of people and saying, hey, look at me. Because there's the whole thing, I think the reason people get pissed off at it is it's a little bit insane to think that somebody coming into your channel and saying, hey, come follow me, is going to, first of all, actually detract from people watching your stream already. They were already there. They're not going to go anywhere, I promise you that, unless they actually just do want to leave. Where was I getting at? Wow, totally lost that train of thought. With people going to the sense of saying there is now attention being grabbed, so then you are trying to take attention away from me, so I feel personally offended by that now. That's what I don't understand. That's the part that I think is a little bit extreme. Because, first of all, like, it always comes down to, like, you don't control the people in your channel. You don't get to tell them what to do, right? So why would somebody coming into your channel and say, hey, follow me, why would that offend you so deeply? I get that it's rude, definitely rude, and definitely shouldn't be done. But that the depth at which people are offended by that's the part I get a little bit confused by. Because, like, if they wanted to go watch that person, they should be allowed to go do that. But understand that they're not going to. So why does it affect you so much? Whatever. It feels strange to me. Anyway, so does that answer the question? I hope, Wes. Let me see. There were a couple things in there that I want to see before that. Ted, these discussions in other places, I did not, even did moderating guidance. Oh yeah, for sure. Actually, yeah, that's the thing too. Is like, yeah, that's the thing too. Is there's people that may or may not know that certain information is private, like your family members or your friends, and they just say things in your chat. That's happened before to a lot of people. They just say private information. Hey, you still got that 543 number? No. But don't say that on my stream, please. And you know that stuff happens, and you have to like be very careful with people that you know. It's like, hey, if you come into my channel, like, dude, I want you there. Like, please, like, be awesome and just hang out there. But like, don't give out any private information, you know? Because people people who don't spend a lot of their time paying attention to stuff like that or being in a spotlight don't know that don't necessarily think about the fact that they can be attacked, you know? Everybody can be cyber attacked, right? Everybody is cyber attacked at least once in their life. Sometimes multiple times in their life. But the bigger point is not everybody necessarily knows that right away. You know what I mean? Yeah, okay. So what I'm seeing is before Twitter it was kind of private. Sometimes on message boards, but it was kind of private, which has much less of an impact for a lot of people. It's more of the public stuff that I think people have issue with, and I think that I necessarily understand it. When people just literally post it in a public thing where everybody in their community just sees that, and you're like, oh wow, okay. It makes my streamer uncomfortable. What makes my streamer uncomfortable makes my Banhammer swing. I gotcha. Okay, hold on 1 second. Questions? Nope. I can type, I promise. I'm typing to a side here. That's just an excuse. Okay, so from Sympology, what's your opinion on spam bots for Hi Streamer Square? I really like your stream. Oh, like the ones that come into people's stream? And I get those emails all the time. I get the email like, Dear streamer, we like your content. We want to sponsor you. And then if you read further, it's really not a sponsorship. It's just a thing that says, hey, we're gonna pay you 3 cents for everybody that pays for $25 game from our thing. And yeah, that happens. What's my opinion on them? I mean, they suck. They're bots, right? Obviously, bots do a lot of good for a lot of people. They save a lot of people a lot of time. Unfortunately, they also save a lot of people a lot of time in trying to scam people. They also save a lot of people a lot of time in attempting to viral market something when they don't understand that viral marketing is by word of mouth, not the word of your own mouth, but by the word of others. And bots and the use of bots and automated tools allow people to do those things without spending time and energy to actually get those done. So bots inherently are good because they help speed up things for people. But when people use them for harm, like here's a bunch of crap thrown at you. Okay, now do what you will with it. We're just gonna play a numbers game. Then, honestly, I may have passed up some good deals. But if you send me a message that's just like almost a lie, like, oh, we love your content, and then because of the tools that I have, I can go look up any name that they might be under and I know what their Twitch name is, and shows that they've never been in my channel, I sit there and go, I guess we're not doing this deal, are we? You know? Rather than more realistic. So, are you talking about like the wording? It probably has a little bit to do with the fact that they're from foreign countries that don't necessarily understand the same language you do. A lot of these bots are Russian, unfortunately, and that's not meant to be stereotypical, but it's like it's true. Russian or Chinese. A lot of bots are not necessarily understanding the culture. There's a lot of bots that just speak a different language of person to streamer, you know, because a lot of us here on Twitch sort of understand a language. We speak a Twitch language. We speak a streaming language, right? When people say pog out in public, nobody knows the hell they're talking about. It's like, dude, pogs haven't been relevant for the last 20 years. Why are you saying pog, dude? Like, oh, it's a streamer thing. What's a streamer? And you know, there's a whole different language that revolves streaming and everything, and watching content on the internet and stuff like that a lot of people don't quite understand, even within the gaming industry. So they just sometimes get the language so wrong. It's not due to lack of being able to speak, but lack of knowing the culture and the language. I had one that had the similar bot spiel, and then included, by the way, RimWorld is awesome. So it probably was a bot that somebody, or maybe not a bot, but like a copy paste, which is almost the same thing. They copied and pasted a whole email, which is honestly fine. It depends on what you're doing, but it means that it does, as long as you can tell that they're handcrafting it, that tends to bring a lot of people in. It can sometimes still be predatory, so be careful. And it's all about, it always comes down to what the deal actually is, and if there's a contract involved, make sure you get a lawyer involved, so that you really know what's going on. So yeah, and if you always see that added message of, by the way, RimWorld is awesome, which probably sounds like, that could go from a couple things too. Maybe they copied and pasted that email to everybody in the RimWorld category, right? You never know, because I get those all the time. Hey, we noticed that you were playing blank. Here's our game that is slightly adjacent, but actually pretty far off. But we're gonna go after people that are playing this specific game, to see if they want to play our game, because that's a I guess I don't know if it's a legitimate marketing strategy. I'm sure it is. It's just like advertising, right? They just find general areas of people and throw a bunch of ads at them and see if it works for them, stuff like that. You know. Yes, a lot of people got that one too, yeah. So, yeah. Here's our game, which is also a game. Yeah, pretty much. That happens a lot. It's somewhat related, but when it comes to you and your world, it's really not related. So people don't necessarily, they don't know that, right? So we don't want to demonize people for going at it, for trying to get you to play their games, right? We don't want to demonize that. We do kind of want to demonize people for taking advantage of others, right? So it's all about the content of the stuff coming in, the content of the email, the message coming through in the email, right? Hey, we want you to play our game. Okay, cool. How do you want to make this a business deal? How do you want to do this? Well, we don't have any money to pay for advertising, so that's why we're sending out these emails. If you don't want to play the game, that's cool, but if the game looks interesting to you, here's a key. You know, that's fair, right? That's fair. Not everybody has money to pay for streamer advertising and stuff like that, but you know, if as long as they're not pressuring you to play the game and if the game looks fun to you, try it out. You know, it's one of those things, because like free advertising, which is what you're doing by playing somebody's game, is it's a decision that's totally up to you, right? We want people to be, we want any streamer of any size to be paid something for some type of content, right? We want some type of something happening in return for service, right? Say you have 10 viewers. What if they're a very dedicated, loyal viewership? That's 10 viewers. Maybe you sell 10 copies of that game. They should owe you something, but it should be before, not after, no matter what, right? Like, you know, you're not going to get paid $1,000 if you have 10 viewers, but you might get paid, like, I don't know, $10? $5? Maybe you get a $5 tip from them? That's cool, right? You'd probably take a $5 tip or a $10 tip for playing their game for a couple hours because you thought it looked fun, and they have a 10 person base viewership, and they seem to be having fun too. That's fine, right? I don't know what that number might come out to reality come out to be, but you know, you would take that, and you'd probably be that's probably okay. At least there's some compensation going on there. And this is going out of alerts for a little bit, but I think we kind of covered follower alerts. I'd like to cover alerts a little bit more in the future, and I think we will. Yeah, it's been 2 hours already. I think we'll cover more on alerts in the future in a future episode. But before we leave, if you're going to TwitchCon, or maybe you're not going to TwitchCon, but you follow this channel, or you follow Loco, or you follow Hunter, or you follow myself, we will be gone to TwitchCon starting, I think Hunter and Loco are leaving Wednesday. I live in San Diego, so I'll be streaming until Thursday. But essentially, if you are going to TwitchCon, make sure to meet up with us. I'm almost positive that Loco, Hunter, myself, Chiganators, Warbnull, my lawyer friend, we'll all be together at some point. Come find us. Come hang out with us. And we'll see you, and we'll give you hugs and stuff like that. At least I will. Coming to brunch? What brunch? Was not invited to a brunch. But if you want, going to WhiskeyCon? Heck yeah. Going to WhiskeyCon, nice. But you can check us out there. We'll be there. And then I think shows will be back on its regular schedule immediately after. I'm not sure if they won't be. I don't think they won't be. However, Monday might be delayed. I'm not sure yet. You have to check with you'll have to check with the Streamer Square Twitter. So follow us on Twitter at twitter.com. Jesus, my brain is dead. Twitter.com/Streamer Square, all one word. I am Danotage. You can follow me at Danotage everywhere on Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all of it. DANOTAGE. Buy my book. It's on Amazon and Target. And yeah, we'll be back. We'll be back next week. Okay? So yeah, we'll figure out more on what to do in the future. But I've been Danotage, and I will see you guys next time. Remember too, you can watch these in the future, in the future from the past on YouTube, in the VOD section, or you can listen to it audio only if you want to listen to it in your car or something, on Anchor. So check all that out. Yeah, thanks, Jaxie Chan. Dun, 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 dun. Thanks for the stream. Yeah, thank you, Some Media Geek. And Target? It is in Target. It's on Target websites, yeah. I thought I was Danotage. Wait, are you Danotage? Crap. We're going to have to talk about it. Thank you as always. Thank you so much, Aaron Garcia. I appreciate you, my friend. Thank you. Thanks, guys. It was an awesome long stream. Thank you so much. Yeah, it was a good stream today. I had fun. I'm going to go make sure my brain works. Because my brain is broken, I think. All right, guys. I'll see you next time. We're all Danotage. We can all be Danotage. I'll see you next time. DeWiggler, have a good one. I'll see you tonight. I'll be online in a couple hours, playing some more Dying Light. So I'll see you guys there. I will see you next time. Okay. Bye, everybody. See ya. Bye.